everyone, welcome to my channel. How are you doing? Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the question of should the business analyst be writing system requirements? So I can't wait to have this discussion with you because it's a very hotly debated topic and I want to let you know what my take on it is. So let's go inside and talk about it. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for coming back and sticking with the video. So today we want to talk about should the business analyst write system requirements? And this is a very hot topic, as I said before. Everybody has their own opinions, so I really want to weigh in on this and let you guys know what I think about the whole thing. So before we get into the discussion, let's kind of clarify the terms. So system requirements is something that everybody walks away with their own interpretation and their own understanding of what system requirements are. So for me, system requirements is just the functional requirements. It's the capabilities that the solution must have in its behavior and information in order to meet the business need. So the BABOK doesn't actually talk about system requirements. It mentions functional requirements and non-functional requirements. So when we say system requirements, we're really just talking about the functional requirements of your solution. Okay, what the system is doing, the hows, what the system is doing in order to satisfy the business need. And of course, business requirements. Everybody knows business requirements, right? These are the business needs. So the core of your time as a business analyst is figuring out the business requirements, right? So there's not much definition needed for that. But why do we debate whether or not the business analyst should be writing system requirements? As business analysts, we have been conditioned to look at what needs to happen. No, we don't want to look at the hows. We want to look at the what's. And so the business requirements is a lot about what needs to happen in the solution. The system requirements, a little bit of both, a little bit of what and how it needs to happen. And so as BAs, we have been shying away from the hows because we don't want to dictate design to the development team, especially for IT projects. Clearly, if you're working in software, you know, you're working with a development team, which might comprise of systems analysts, it might comprise of architects, and of course your programmers. So you don't want to be the one telling the programmer how to program, right? You don't want to step over into their world. You need to stay in your lane, let them do what they know how to do. So that's why business analysts have been very shy and unwilling and probably just don't want to do somebody else's job. And so in many organizations, when you start putting too much detail into your requirements, the other teams that need to consume it, they don't like to be dictated to. They don't like to be told exactly what to do because they might know a better way. They might know the best way to get this thing done, but if you tell them what to do, they might be able to do it in the best way, knowing they know the hows. But if you try to tell them how to do it, then you're kind of encroaching on them. And so this is a very sticky area that we have to find a healthy balance and a happy medium between. So that's why we debate it so much. My answer to the question of whether or not business analysts should be writing system requirements is a matter of how much you care. So for me, if you care that much how the system is doing something, then you need to be able to explain that in your requirements, and therefore you need to write system requirements. But there are many cases where you don't have to care. There are many cases where the project just calls for something to be built. You just need to specify that this thing needs to be built. You don't have to specify exactly how it needs to be built. In those cases, don't write system requirements because it's not necessary. Let the developers who have the knowledge to build it in the best way based on what you're trying to accomplish, let the developers meet the business need in the best way that they can with their skills. However, the system requirements that the business analyst writes are never to the level of detail about the implementation, the code structure, the architecture. That's not for us to write. So definitely not We should not be writing those kinds of requirements. The system requirements that business analyst writes are more of a guide as to the system reaction to user actions. So all the system requirements that we write are always going to be what the system is doing as a behavior triggered by an action that the user takes. Okay, so that's just to that level. We're very high level in system requirements. We're not detailed about the system requirements to the implementation level. We're just trying to explain how the system is behaving in order to satisfy the business need. I hope that was clear. I'm trying to make it as simple as I can. But you know, that's really what it is. So hopefully you take away some value from that. The best way to understand this though is with a case study. You need a real concrete example to see when it's appropriate to write business requirements only and when you need to step in and write some system requirements, and to what level of detail should your system requirements be. Now luckily for you, I've already done this for you in my article up on Karaleise.com. The title of the article is the same as the title of this video, Should the Business Analyst Write System Requirements? And in there I give an example of a lead generation system where in one example you can see when it's appropriate to write business requirements only and leave it at that, or when you need to get into the level of detail for system requirements. And I give examples on both, you know, what does a system requirement look like that a business analyst writes, and what does a business requirement look like that a business analyst writes. So I like to give you examples so you can follow along and you can, you know, appreciate what I'm trying to say. So please go check out the article up on Karaleise.com. And to answer the question, yes, business analysts should write system requirements. However, the system requirements that we write should only be system reactions to user actions. That's the level of detail we get into. Everything else is for the development team to figure out, for the architects to figure out. We don't get into that. That's their job. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. And of course, if you like this content, just subscribe. It's a no-brainer. So thank you so much for sticking to it, and I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.